Yes, welcome into Sports Bet. Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy, SBRpicks.com. Monday, April 9th, 3 days left in the regular season. And the association big game breakdown, two good ones, Thunder and the Heat, and Portland and the Nuggets. And we'll turn on the shot clock before we get out of here. We'll recap win totals in the NHL in a second. It's an award-winning edition of Bad Beats, Bad Bets, Bad for the Books. We start with the Masters. Terrific tournament. Great drama on Sunday. Patrick Reed, your winner, as high as 55-1, closed at 40-1 here in Vegas. Nobody likes him. You saw that by the subdued applause when he won the Masters. He shoots 15 under and wins. Spieth almost pulled off the greatest comeback in Masters history, and then Fowler made the late push as well. If Reed doesn't make that last putt, we go to a playoff. You thought Rory was going to win. He fell apart. And the one thing we knew going in, Tiger Woods wouldn't contend, and Tiger was a no-show.
Yeah, we certainly got that one right. Reed, obviously, a big payday for those of you who had him. From what I was hearing around town here in Vegas, it wasn't like the books had a ton of liability on Patrick Reed. And as you mentioned, McIlroy, you look at the head-to-heads. We talked about the head-to-head matchups as being the best way to attack the Masters. McIlroy was, what, a $1.65 favorite at the Open against Reed, and he was bet up to -$2 before he closed with a 74 on Sunday. And I got something right with the shot clock. We talked about how Tiger was going to do. I said he'll struggle to make the cut. He'll be lucky to make the cut. And he played respectable on Sunday. He got back to even par, but he was never in contention. And yes, He barely made the cut. Tiger's a big headline, but on the course, largely a non-factor.
No. It's over, and it's been over. He's 42 years old. It's a young man's game. All these guys who are on the leaderboard at the top, they're all in their 20s. And this guy's 42. He played well for 9 holes on the back 9 yesterday. That was it. You're right. It was over Thursday, and he barely made the cut. Winner play of the day. How about under 66, huh? There was a ton of 65s and Spieth's round yesterday as well. A couple 66s in there as well. The hole-in-one cashed for the third year in a row. Charlie Hoffman puts one in, plus $1.15 on 16 as well. Here we go with the bad beats. How about the 76ers? My God, it was bad enough Friday, right? Laying 4. They're up 30 with a minute left until half and up 25 at the half, and they won by 2. Well, they're up 13. They're laying 13 against the Mavs. They're up 20 with 2 minutes. It's a gentleman's agreement. If I dribble it out, you're supposed to dribble it out, Dallas. The last 2 trips, Philly dribbles it out. Harrison Barnes lays it in twice, puts it on 12 with 10 seconds left. That was the ball game. Sixers win by 12.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really call it a moose when you're laying double digits in the NBA, but this one was pretty freaking bad for Philly backers. Again, they're minus 13. You say minus 12.5 in a lot of shops. You're up 20 with 2.5 left. You're up 16 with a minute left. It's hard to lose those bets. It really is. And when you lose it because your team dribbles out and the opposing team gets 2 uncontested looks at the hoop, yeah, Harrison Barnes got Dallas the money. If you had Philly, this moose is for you, my friends. That was a tough beat.
Yeah. Yes, this one's the bullpen shenanigans every day in Major League Baseball. How about the Rays plus 190, bet down to 175? Not only was it 7-2 in the bottom of the 8th, there's 2 outs with a guy on. Then all hell breaks loose, and the Red Sox win 8-7. They've won 8 in a row.
Yeah, and of course, when you see the big dogs, we're going to talk about big dogs in the bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books, probably more than big favorites, because the big dogs, it seems like they're so tantalizingly close, and then it all falls apart. That's what Tampa, plus 190, nice payday. Yeah, the Rays are supposed to win that game. Oops, 7-2 lead. They lose the game 8-7.
Yeah. Supposed to win this too. Royals plus the run and a half. They led 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Indians tie it, no big deal. The only way you can lose is a walk-off home run with a guy on or 2 guys on, and that happened. Walk-off for Gomes, 3-1 Indians. Horrible if you had the Royals.
Yeah, Kansas City plus 1.5. Let's be, Kansas. So someone's going to win or lose that game. So when you score 1 run, it's not like your offense did anything right. But when you're losing in the 9th inning, they never trailed for a pitch in the game. You're plus 1.5, and they never trailed for a pitch until the 2-run home run for Gomes. Yeah, that's a tough one for KC. Plus 1.5 backers. Right side, wrong result.
Bad bets. Brewers took money. They lost at home against the Cubs and were shut out. Also, the White Sox were $1.45 up to 170. They were shut out. And in hockey, a makeup game. The Bruins were playing for the 1 seed from 240 up to 340. They lost at home against the Panthers 4-2.
Yeah, who wants the 1 seed? In the NHL, seeding and home ice means so much less than it does, say, in a sport like the NBA. But I'm going to go back to the Cubs, man. There's like money coming in against the Cubs on the reg so far this season. And fading Jose Quintana, he might be the best starter the Cubs have. He looks like the ace of that staff to me. I'm very surprised to see the money come in on Milwaukee yesterday as much as it did. Obviously, the Cubs, another right side cash.
Here we go. Bad for the books. Magic plus 13 down to 10.5. It fell 11. Horrible landing spot. No DeRozan or Valanciunas. And the Jazz from 5.5, from 5 to 9.5. They couldn't get any Laker money as the Jazz covered.
Yeah. So the Magic, that late three-pointer, meaningless. No, not so meaningless. Jonia hits the three that allows the game to fall 11, lands right in the middle, plus 13 open, plus 10.5 close, as you mentioned. All of the money coming after Toronto announced that Valanciunas and DeRozan will be sitting. And, of course, Van Vliet got hurt in that ball game as well. There's talk that Kyle Lowry could sit tonight. Be aware if you're going to be involved in the Raptors game on Monday at Detroit. And, of course, the Jazz. I mean, this game was a freaking disaster for the books. The Jazz-Lakers game, nothing but Utah. I didn't see any buyback, and it just kept coming right until tip-off. Jazz, they're playing good basketball right now. They're the scary team that no one's talking about in the West, although everyone's getting talked about in the West. This is a wild playoff chase.
Hawks took money, 10.5 down to 9, beat the Celtics outright by 6 on the road. The Orioles from 185 down to 160. They won in extra innings. Stanton with the 5 strikeout game again. And the Dodgers from $2 up to 240. They finally won a game for Kershaw this year. They couldn't give him any support. 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th. He gives up a run, but they win in extra innings.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The Dogs trying to tank. Atlanta's trying to tank against Boston. But it's hard to tank when the favorite cares less than you do. Hawks get the money. Hawks take the money. That was not a good result for the house. And that the Yankees, where they sit, 3 starters yesterday, a couple of infielders and the catcher sitting. All the money came on Baltimore as a result. The Orioles win that one. And, of course, Kershaw, and you talk about his first win of the season. Remember, Kershaw's run as a starter is as dominant as I've ever seen in baseball over a multi-year span. What's he cashed about 80%? If you've laid an average lay price of minus $4 with Kershaw over the last, 4 seasons, you've shown a profit. Dodgers don't hit. They still win for him last night. Can't beat Kershaw, man. It's unbelievable how much the Dodgers have been able to steal victories with their ace on the hill.
That team's in trouble. They can't hit, and the bullpen stinks again. That's something to watch. Yikes. All right, NHL win totals. The playoffs start Wednesday. Can't wait. These are just the biggest overachievers and underachievers. The Vegas Golden Knights, the biggest story in sports. An expansion team not only makes the playoffs, they win the division at 200-1, as high as 200-1 here in Vegas. They went over their points total by 41. They start the playoffs against the Kings at home Wednesday. Colorado, great turnaround after they were bad last year. They go over by 25. New Jersey by 22.5. Winnipeg by 22.5. And the Bruins lost yesterday, but still went over by 19.5. They take on the Maple Leafs. Biggest underachievers, the Canadians, went under by 30.5. Buffalo by 26. What a disaster for the Oilers with McDavid. They should have won to the conference finals last year. They blew that series against Anaheim. They went under by 28 points, Chicago by 22.5, and Ottawa by 24.5. And right to the end, how sharp are the odds makers? These 3 totals came down to the final game. The Capitals were at 101. They get the over with the win to finish at 105 on Saturday. The Blues were 95. It was a win and in situation against Colorado Saturday. They lost. They stayed under by 1. And Vancouver, right on the nose, was 73. Also, the markets took a beating. The books took a beating, rather, Saturday in hockey. All the big moves got there with those teams that had to win and get in. As you saw, the Flyers, the Capitals, Nashville, Colorado, all those teams. Boston took money, significant money, and line movement, and they all won on Saturday. So the playoffs start Wednesday. Some interesting matchups coming up. Up next, big game breakdown. The Thunder and the Heat. Does anybody want the 6th seed in the East? And we'll get to Portland and Denver up next on SportsBit 2.0. Betting insight today on SBRpicks.com.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.